Well, it's always a good night to be in Malibu. That's where we are on the campus of Pepperdine, and a very lively crowd has gathered. Just the third time in the history of Firestone Fieldhouse that the #1 team in college basketball has played here. The Waves of Pepperdine hosting Chet Holmgren and the #1 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs in this WCC game. Zags are #1 in the polls. Joe Lunardi's got him back as the #1 overall seed for the upcoming NCAA tournament with just a couple weeks of regular season college basketball still remaining. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming, Robbie Hummel. Great to have Robbie out here on the West Coast. And you get a chance, Robbie, tonight to see the #1 team in the country.
Well, a team that we all knew would be able to score. They have so much talent, but now the defensive end of the floor has started to be the difference. They have been driving people. So to see Gonzaga here tonight, there's no doubt in my mind they're one of the elite teams in college basketball.
Yeah, and we know this is a tall task for Pepperdine. The Waves have struggled this year, particularly how do they handle the two Gonzaga big men?
This is a two-headed monster. You know what you're getting from Drew Timme, but Chet Holmgren, WCC play, has been a totally different type of player. The level he's playing at, 16 points a game, 10 rebounds, over 3 blocks, 66% from the field, 58% from 3. He has been a game changer and a guy that I think is flying under the radar for National Player of the Year.
And if you like offense, I believe you will enjoy this game tonight. Because the Waves will play fast. The Zags love to play fast, and the very first possession of the game ends up in an alley-oop.
That's where Andrew Nembhard has just been so good in pick and roll. They clear out that whole backside. There's no help there. And Drew Timme, a lob threat. You think of Holmgren as the guy catching lobs, but Timme as well.
Well, the freshman Carson Basham banked one in, so Pepperdine is on the board. Pepperdine's got some very talented young players. One of them, though, unfortunately got hurt and is out not just tonight for the rest of the year. Maxwell Lewis. That hurts the Waves' chances for an upset. Jan Zedek missed the 3. And the Zags will get the ball back.
How about the tempo? I mean, we're 50 seconds in, and I mean, you're talking about 4 possessions already. First good shot is going up, and boy, you're right. Pepperdine wants to play with pace, and we know that Gonzaga, they play with the fastest pace in all of college basketball on offense.
Holmgren 3, and perfect from the outside for the freshman 7-footer.
He is just growing up before our eyes, and once again, it's all about the pick and roll. Nembhard just surgical with it, getting into the middle of that paint and finding his shooter.
Holmgren hit that 3 right in front of Brad Stevens. He and many folks from the NBA are here tonight just outside of Los Angeles, I think largely to watch Chet Holmgren, but also, I mean, Zags have lots of high-end talent. Kind of a sloppy pass. Bolton chased after it. It's out of bounds off of Bolton, so Pepperdine will keep it.
I think that's where the improvement with Gonzaga has been so impressive. Their ability to lock down on defense over the last 7 games. Opponents are averaging 59 points a game. We know they can score. They've done it all year. One of the most efficient offenses in college basketball, but that's been a new deal for them this year.
Basham just bullied his way to the rim, but Holmgren still found a way to at least affect the shot. Timme running the floor. And Pepperdine this time got back on defense.
That's where just Chet Holmgren's presence. Boy, I will say the crowd here is pretty good. And there's an atmosphere in here. And Gonzaga's committed a few turnovers early, a moving screen.
Well, it's one of the older buildings in the WCC. It feels very intimate.
No doubt.
And on these nights where you get a good crowd, I mean, the #1 team in the country is here. Pepperdine students are here in big numbers. Yeah, it can be a factor. How about the freshman Houston Millette, who has really come on strong?
Boy, the reigning freshman of the week in the conference, and that's going to be a real test. Now, even on made baskets, you better get back and find your man. I mean, how about the pace that Andrew Nembhard is playing with there? But Houston Millette is going to fly off screens, and he is not going to be intimidated by anybody. He had 21 in the first meeting, and he's got it going early.
Wow, even with Holmgren's hand in his face, that's pretty impressive.
He is flying off these pin downs and handoffs. He's looking for his, and he should, because he is having a heck of a freshman year.
They need him to shoot a lot tonight. Timme a little out of control. Nembhard came away with the offensive rebound. Holmgren 3.
This is going to be the defense optional game. You can just feel it with the pace, the tempo, and this guy right here is playing with a ton of confidence.
Daryl Polk, who's starting tonight with the freshman Lewis out, missed that jumper. Most teams figure, Robbie, if they're going to pull off an upset Holmgren in transition, too strong, they slow it down against the Zags.
Yeah, and that's not going to be the case tonight. It is going to be a high-octane game with both teams pushing tempo.
Zedek wanted to fire up that three. The ball went out of bounds, and that was off of Pepperdine.
Chet Holmgren just showing off that length from defensive end of the floor. As a help defender, he can cover so much ground with that wingspan, and a terrific job of playing two defenders right there. He gets a deflection and ends up going off Jan Zedek.
You saw those numbers. I mean, it was offense and then some up in Spokane when these two teams met for the first time. A rare turnover from Nemhard. Zags put 117 on the board. There goes Mitchell. He missed the shot. And here comes Gonzaga.
You said a rare turnover. Andrew Nemhard, last 5 games, 25 assists, 2 turnovers. I mean, he does not turn the ball over. And once again, running the show in transition. I really think Rasheer Bolton is a huge piece of what Gonzaga can do. I mean, he can get to the rim. He shoots 45% from 3. Has been a terrific pickup and a guy that's just fit in seamlessly with Mark Few's offense.
He really has been just the perfect fit. Long three. Millett hits one.
You talk about playing with some swagger and some confidence. I mean, this is a guy that is in just his 27th game of playing college basketball, and he is not backing down to the #1 team in the country.
So entertaining first 4 minutes in Malibu. The lob. Timmy dunks another one down.
And the pick and roll is just such a problem, and Pepperdine had a heck of a time stopping Gonzaga in the first meeting, but it's the same action. Backside's cleared out. You have got to get a body on Drew Timme. He is just getting to that rim unimpeded.
Bad pass. Bolton lays it in. Turn the ball over against Gonzaga, you pay for it.
Turnovers for touchdowns. It just cannot happen. You've got to take care of the basketball. And that's the biggest thing for Pepperdine here tonight.
Tough shot for Zedek. Both the Zags big men, not just Holmgren, can bring the ball up the court.
I'm a little surprised Drew Timme didn't go and get that ball. He's got a freshman on. Andrew Nemhard's going to get a wide open 3 because of it, but I think he understood who exactly was guarding him.
Nemhard found Timme. Just kind of an awkward possession all the way around.
That was the YMCA possession right there. That was an interesting one.
Zags don't have many of those.
No, they do not. That was a little helter-skelter, and
Mitchell dribbled the ball off his foot. Millett's got the last 7 for the Waves against Strother with the left hand. Hit the floor hard, no whistle. And then Holmgren goes behind the back, leading the break, gets it back, and is fouled. So they call the blocking foul. Daryl Polk showed a little courage there, standing in with Chet Holmgren flying at him.
Yes, he did. That's another thing that Chet Holmgren does so well, just taking that rebound off the glass and getting his game on in transition.
So timeout. We're going to keep it here in Malibu. Game ahead of us on ESPN2 has now finished, so those folks are going to join this audience.
Every assist the men's basketball team compiles during conference play. Prior to tonight's game, the team has 164 assists, totaling 24,006.
And we welcome those of you who were watching a very entertaining game in the Big 12 to Malibu.
Malibu. It's a beautiful day in Southern California. We're inside the Firestone Fieldhouse. Third time in history a #1 team has played in this building. Dave Fleming, Robbie Hummel, great to have you with us. And Robbie, look, Gonzaga, #1 team in the polls, #1 according to Joe Lunardi, overall seed if the NCAA tournament were to start today. Top offensive team in college basketball by most of the metrics. And the early minutes of this game indicate we're going to see a lot of offense tonight.
Boy, strap in and get ready for some fireworks, because both these teams, Gonzaga plays at the fastest pace in all of college basketball on the offensive end. Pepperdine's not far behind. You said this earlier, a lot of teams when they play the Zags, they want to slow it down. That's not going to be Pepperdine's deal. And early on here, Gonzaga, 7 fast break points. They are looking to push the tempo and find their shooters. Andrew Nembhard in pick and roll has been fabulous early. They've cleared out that whole backside. They found Drew Timme. Chet Holmgren getting his game on, showing off the range. Shooting 58% from 3 in conference play. There were some fireworks early and an offensive display by both sides, you could say.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen Chet Holmgren lately, I mean, Holmgren and Timme are just such a monstrous front court combination. Timme, we sort of know. Last year had a great year, having another outstanding season again for Mark Few's team. Holmgren, maybe by the numbers, slow start considering all the hype coming into the season. The last few weeks he's just been awesome.
He has. I think he's flying under the radar and should be a guy that has to be considered for even awards like National Player of the Year. I mean, he has affected the game at the highest level on both ends of the floor. He's shooting a crazy percentage. He's blocking shots at a high level. And the fans can't overrate it. That's probably the dumbest thing that they could say here tonight.
Yeah, and it's also not true. So Chet in conference play. And look, the WCC is having a very good year. Lots of good teams in this league. Maybe not quite the caliber of, one of the Power 5, what we sometimes call them, conferences. But the WCC's been good, and Holmgren's numbers just silly in league play.
It's only going to get better, too. I mean, as he gets stronger, gains strength, and continues to add confidence to that frame, there's just a little pressure that Gonzaga throws out there. That's a freshman backcourt with Houston Millett, Mike Mitchell, who are 2 really good freshmen in this league, but you've got to advance that ball up the floor, and then they just took a little too much time.
So Lorenzo Romar, who's got a long career in college hoops, early on as a young head coach here at Pepperdine. His journey took him to some other programs. Now back here at Pepperdine. His team last year very competitive in the league. This year they've struggled.
They lost so much from last year. You lose a guy like Colby Ross and Kessler Edwards now playing for the Brooklyn Nets. Trying to replace them with some young guys here, and you have to say early on in this ball game, those guys have scrapped. They've played hard. They haven't always made the right play, but they're competing at a high level against Gonzaga here early.
More pressure from Gonzaga.
Somebody's got to come help these guys out. That's another slow possession. You got to get guys flashing into the middle of the court and help your guards bring that ball up the floor.
Talking about the young players for Pepperdine, Maxwell Lewis out tonight and out for the rest of the year, but the rest of the freshman class very productive. There's Mitchell, the freshman point guard, who hits the jumper.
Andrew Nembhard just got caught ball watching right there. He loses track of Mike Mitchell. Chet Holmgren holding his own down there, but a nice cut by Mitchell to find that open area.
Anton Watson in for the Zags. Here's Julian Strother. What a breakout year he's had, but he bricked that one.
He really has. I mean, he's made 7 of his last 13 threes, shooting at a high level this year. Another important piece for this team.
Fight for the rebound. It goes out of bounds off of Pepperdine.
Honestly, tonight with Strother, the most important thing that he's going to do is going to be his defense on Houston Millett. Early on, Millett has been confident. He's knocked down some jumpers, some contested ones, and Strother taking a seat. But when he comes back in, he'll be right back on him.
And it could be Hunter Salas who's going to be asked to guard the big-time scorer for Pepperdine. Holmgren finds his fellow freshman Salas, who attacks the basket. In and out, though. No good. Mitchell. And Holmgren right there to swat away the layup. It's out of bounds off of Majid Dang.
Well, it's a nice cut by Maduk Dang, but I liken it to my sophomore year. I got to play against Hashim Thabit, and you think you're open until that thing's getting packed on the glass, and that's exactly what happened right there with Chet Holmgren.
It's incredible how he's protecting the rim. He's got such a knack. What a pass from Nembhard to Watson.
Boy, it's just straight pick and roll, and once again making the perfect read. He leads Anton Watson the whole way there. I just think it can't be undersold how well Andrew Nembhard has played over the last 5 games.
That pass stolen to the breakout for Nolan Hickman. Hickman will lay it in.
It's just, you cannot give these guys any help. They don't need it with their offensive firepower. That's the second time that we've seen a Pepperdine turnover for a touchdown, and those are pick sixes.
Dang picked up his dribble, trying to find somewhere to go with the ball. Nembhard's the guy guarding Millette. Millette. Now Mitchell. The three is off iron. Holmgren defensive rebound, but he threw it away. Right to Munson, who's going to attack the shot blocker. That wasn't a great decision. Here's a Hickman three. Holmgren tips it in.
Boy, I mean, just a clinic on both ends. First defending the rim, and then getting on the offensive glass. Chet Holmgren showing off the total package on those 2 possessions.
Sparking a 12-2 Gonzaga run, biggest lead of the game. As we go to a break, ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Sonic Patty Melt, for a limited time only at Sonic.
Chet Holmgren showing off on that last possession. Now it starts off with a bad pass. He throws this one away, but he stays in the play, goes up vertically, challenges this shot, knocks it out. Now Gonzaga off to the races, where they're so lethal in transition. And look at the effort by Holmgren to get back in the play, go upstairs, tap it in. And that's what has NBA scouts salivating, is the ability to move, the length to protect the rim, and he's shown off the skill set as well. A really good start to the game for Chet Holmgren.
What do you think about his draft? Are we attributing these solely to Mike Schmitz, or is this a joint effort?
I'm not sure if that's just a Mike Schmitz deal or if it's a collective effort who have graded him out. I want to know how we got A+ versus A's and A- versus B+. But you know what? He showed off a little bit of everything here. Rim protection certainly has been on display. You look down at the stat sheet, and you said this in the break, 1 block. It feels like this dude's impacted at least 5 or 6 shots.
Another Pepperdine turnover. Dang just couldn't catch the pass. Nembhard, they left him open.
I mean, look at how under control he is. He ends up just getting a great shot for Timmy, and I think the world of Hunter Salas. I think you look at him and Nolan Hickman, those guys coming off the bench, they're starting for a lot of teams in college basketball.
I mean, Hunter Salas was a 5-star, top 10, 20 kind of recruit out of high school. Incredible high-flying athlete. Yes. He struggled a little bit with his shot, and they've had to kind of rebuild it mechanically, struggle with the confidence on the offensive end. The things he can do, though, just physically are.
Yeah, I just think as a defender, as a cutter, as an offensive rebounder, right now you don't need him to be one of those primary scorers with the talent you have, but as a role player, he can excel at the highest level on this team.
Zags are starting to make it real tough for Pepperdine on this end. He can hit tough shots.
That's the 3rd one he's made, where as a defender, you're tipping your cap and saying, yo, look, these count. It's a tough deal from a guy who's scoring the ball really well over the last 4 games.
Good cut and pass, but Hunter Salas couldn't finish.
You feel like right now somebody's got to come with Houston Millette to give him some help. He's been almost the entire offense here.
Well, the NBA scouts who are here are scribbling some notes like, wait a minute, this is not the kid we came to watch play, but he can really shoot. Millette, 3, had to kind of heave that one up. Hickman to Timmy, who scores.
With the ball movement, the cutting, it all starts with Nembhard cutting into that paint. Now all of a sudden that help defense has got to collapse. They're behind the play. It just feels like every play down, Andrew Nembhard is making things happen for the Zags.
Polk in the lane, scores.
Nice little hesitation move right there. Daryl Polk just freezing the defense.
But you score on one end, you blink, and the Zags are on the other end laying it in.
Yeah, transition defense is the game. And it's like playing the Tom Izzo Michigan State ball club. Missed shot, made shot, doesn't matter. Gonzaga is coming.
Here, Polk couldn't finish this time, but he pokes the ball away. Mitchell three. That one too strong. Lob, Salas finishes above the rim. Wow.
You cannot lose track of Hunter Salas. Pepperdine going to a little 2-3 zone, and they're so concerned about the middle with Anton Watson and Drew Timme that Hunter Salas just sneaks behind, and it's showtime.
That's a guy who hardly plays.
Yeah, I'm serious. This guy scored 5 points in 3 games, and he's coming off the bench. It's an incredibly talented Gonzaga team.
Millette went by him. Timme hit the floor, and that led to a dunk. A lot of contact there. Drew Timme got maybe the wind knocked out of him.
That was carnage at the rim.
Timmy's grimacing a little bit. Tried to thread one in there, but it's a kick ball. So that'll send us to another timeout in Malibu.
Hunter Salas impacting this game as a cutter. You want to go 2-3 zone, you have to know where cutters are. He's going upstairs, throwing it down, and Hunter Salas showing off the bounce here in Malibu.
Dave Fleming, Robbie Hummel back here in Malibu. Zags lead Pepperdine 30-17 in the first half. WCC's never had 4 teams in a single NCAA tournament. They're kind of hanging on for dear life right now. BYU has not played as well of late, but as of right now, I mean, 2 I think are solidly, and we know the Zags. St. Mary's has got a great resume. St. Mary's competed hard against the Zags in Spokane last weekend, and the notable wins in non-conference, I mean, it's up and down the league. They beat power conference teams.
No, it hasn't just been Gonzaga. I mean, you look down the list right there. It's been such a good year for the West Coast Conference in terms of just making their impact felt, beating some of those Power 5 schools.
Polk in transition after the turnover, missed the layup. That was a steal by Jay Yoon, a walk-on who doesn't play much, who got in the game and immediately made a play on defense. Anton Watson open 3. Timme fighting for the rebound. It's out of bounds off of Pepperdine. Timmy's getting beat up a little bit in this first half. Being guarded here by Victor Ohia Obioha. Finds Bolton open 3. Off to the side.
Pepperdine fortunate there. I mean, I'm all about going to double team Drew Timme, but you better rotate to the guy that's shooting 46% from 3. Third in the West Coast Conference. Rasir Bolton gets a terrific look, and I think Gonzaga has gotten good looks in the half court against this 2-3 zone.
Jan Zedek, who can shoot from the outside. The big man knocks down a 3.
Boy, really good set right there by Lorenzo Romar to bring off Daryl Polk on a dribble handoff, and then you pin in for Jan Zedek. It's a great look from the top of the key.
Ahmad missed the jumper, so Pepperdine. We're going to make a little push here. Polk almost traveled, scored.
He kept that foot down, and Ingrid Nemhard goes flying by. Pepperdine keeping this crowd in the game, which is a huge deal. Terrific crowd here on site tonight, and they have had plenty of energy on the offensive end of the floor.
Timme went right by and laid it in.
Boy, he just blew right by Victor Ohia Obioha. That was just a face-up, rip and go, and Drew Timme getting to the other side of that rim.
He's got 80. Had a monster game on Saturday against St. Mary's. That ended a 7-0 run. Dangerous pass, but a nice extra pass for the layup for Zito.
How about the drive, though, by Jay Yoon to get downhill and collapse that defense with the dribble penetration.
The walk-on's making an impact. Timmy, not this time. Zedek faces in and out.
He is so comfortable at just facing you up and letting it fly. You've got to have a hand up. When Zedek faces up, he is doing it to shoot.
He's a good player. His dad was a great player. Won a national championship at UCLA. Anton Watson.
You got that dude coming off the bench, and that was just the weight room right there. Zedek getting pushed way back, and Anton Watson, a really good player.
Another one in that category. If he'd start for a lot of teams. Polk, three, too strong. Nemhard rebound. Nemhard is going to go all the way. Scooped it up and in. But I don't believe they counted that basket. Foul on the floor. Well, college basketball Saturday on ESPN. In the ACC, we got Florida State Duke at 6 Eastern. Duke in the top 10. Paolo Banchero having a big year. Kansas, West Virginia, always interesting when the Jayhawks go to Morgantown at 8 Eastern, also on Saturday. And then finish it off on ESPN in the Pac-12, Oregon and Arizona. Arizona, Tommy Lloyd, former Gonzaga assistant, done a terrific job there. Another foul against Pepperdine.
How about former Gonzaga coaches just absolutely killing it this year? I mean, Tommy Lloyd is the obvious one at Arizona, but you look over at Leon Rice at Boise State, Dan Munson, Long Beach State, they're all in first place. Like it's not just that Gonzaga and Spokane. I mean, it's been a little bit of everybody that's been there is having terrific success this season.
And the Mark Few coaching tree maybe isn't as big as it could be. I think partially because coaches like to stay around.
Yeah, right. Look at Tommy Lloyd staying for what, 19 years?
I mean, great program, great coach to work for. Nobody's eager to just jump ship.
Right. No, that's so true. And the guys that have gone on to have success.
4 minutes to go first half. Pepperdine, as you said, trying to hang around this game, keep their energetic student crowd into it. Houston Millette immediately off the bench. Holmgren back in, grabbed the rebound.
Man, look at the pace that Gonzaga's playing with. We talked to Mike Mitchell and Houston Millette today at shoot-around.
Here goes Holmgren from Nemhard.
They just said that the pace overwhelmed us in the first game. And right there, before I could even finish my sentence, I mean, it's just straight into a pick and roll. And once again, that weak side's cleared out. Chet Holmgren is hanging on rims.
Zags want to play fast. If you broadcast the Zags, you got to talk fast.
Got to get in, got to get out.
Got blocked off the backboard, but a whistle and a foul call. Chet Holmgren came back in the game and immediately made his presence felt.
Well, you better be ready to guard ball screen action when you play Gonzaga, and here it is. Coming off the pick and roll, Andrew Nemhard once again setting the table. Chet Holmgren with the hammer on the backside.
The Tennessee Lady Vols, a program that's long been considered basketball royalty.
Tennessee's the fourth back-to-back championship.
But for the last decade, Don Staley and the Gamecocks have joined the elites of the game.
SEC tournament title, national champion.
College Game Day, covered by State Farm, courtside in Columbia, as two of college basketball's most iconic brands collide.
Yeah, very cool that Game Day will be there for the #1 team on the women's side. Zags #1 on the men's side, and Andrew Nemhard having a great first half.
Boy, he is putting on a show here. 28 of Gonzaga's 38 points have been in the paint. A big reason why is because Andrew Nemhard is dropping dimes all over the place. 8 assists. He'll find you in pick and roll. He'll find you in transition. One of the elite point guards in college basketball, and he is showing it here. It's been fantastic.
He's got 8 assists, 1 turnover tonight. He's got that 5.6 assist to turnover ratio in conference play. He's a kid who, I call him a kid. He's been around college basketball for several years now. 2 years as a starter in the SEC for a very good Florida team. Came to Gonzaga, and for most of the year last year came off the bench as a transfer. Bad inbound pass. Bolton steals it away. Ajir Bolton to the bucket. He draws the foul.
Pepperdine foul shorts to number 0, Houston Millette. His first team foul.
So Millette gets called for the personal. Free throws coming up for Bolton. I mean, Pepperdine's done a decent job hanging around the Zags in this first half.
They've competed. Now, the turnovers have really hurt them. You just cannot do that against a Gonzaga offense that needs no help. You start giving them layups and giving them opportunities to get on the open floor, you're asking for trouble.
First free throw good from Bolton. Well, it'd be a different atmosphere in Austin than it was in Lubbock, that's for sure. Chris Beard against his old team, Texas Tech. Saturday on ABC. It'll stream live on the app at 12:30 Eastern.
The friendly confines of Austin, Texas. I mean, that was insane to see in Lubbock. Mark Adams has done a really good job for Texas Tech. Another good win for them tonight against a Baylor team that you have to think is reeling with the injury news to Jonathan Chalmachachua.
Texas Tech's a good team.
They are. They will really guard you.
Millette couldn't get the roll. Holmgren fought and grabbed the defensive board.
Now, give Gonzaga a lot of credit. Now, Houston Millette has made some tough shots, but there's been nothing easy for him tonight.
Pepperdine a little more aggressive there that time. Ball out of bounds off of the wave, so Zags keep it with 14 to shoot.
They really sold the farm there. I mean, it was all in on Andrew Nembhard up high. If he can get that out to Chet Holmgren, it's going to be a wide open shot, but they gambled and it paid off.
Nembhard down the lane. This time he'll shoot it and missed it. Good hustle from Mitchell. They're going to call Nembhard for a foul.
They're going to get him for holding down Mike Mitchell's arm. It's a good call. A freshman Mitchell making a play on the basketball. Nembhard just gets whatever he wants, though. And if he wants to get a shot for his guys, he does it. If you're in drop coverage, you can get to that floater. We were talking at Shoot-Around today. He's got a little bit of the Mark Jackson back you down, take you to the torture chamber type game when he posts. He'll post smaller guards. He does a little bit of everything. The only thing that you could complain about with Andrew Nembhard is the way he shot it from 3 over the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and at times this year he shot the ball very well from 3. Millette, again, just a little out of control against a tough defense. Here comes Gonzaga.
He's just feeling the pressure that he has to score to keep them in this game.
Another assist for Nembhard, just a perfect leave for Julian Strother.
Absolutely, and a bad shot can almost be like a turnover. Gonzaga just off to the races again, and Strother just trailing right into the play.
Nearly another Pepperdine turnover. This is an 11-0 Gonzaga run. Polk lost the ball going up. Tried to save it in bounds, saved it right to Nembhard. Trying to figure out which teammate he wants to give it to. He'll give it to Strother again, and offensive foul.
They're going to get him with that off arm. Just pile drive Darren Polk to the ground. A strong take, but a little extracurricular activity here with that left arm. As he gets to the basket, there it is. Just totally sheds him.
Well, the second foul against Strother. Mark Few, a little coaching moment there for his sophomore. I mean, Julian Strother averaged 7 minutes a game last year. He's been one of the best players in the league this season. Zedek went right at Holmgren, who just stuffed him.
You can see Zedek knows I've got to get to Holmgren's chest, but for most guys that works. For Chet Holmgren, it's a different deal.
Holmgren, a little between the legs dribble, kept his balance, kept the dribble going even after he got fouled. He is so good to me, Robbie, at blocking shots and not swatting him into the stands.
Yeah, almost like a Bill Russell type deal where he's keeping him in play. What a split of the ball screen by Nolan Hickman. My goodness. That's where you think about Gonzaga. They get into foul trouble or injury issues. Not that you want it for Andrew Nembhard, because he's a great player, but if you had to go to Hickman, I'm sure Mark Few feels pretty good about that.
They could survive. Mitchell hits the jumper.
He's had a nice freshman year. I mean, you talk about a guy that's second in the West Coast Conference in assists. Just comes off that ball screen. Gonzaga in drop coverage. Takes what the defense gives him and gets to his pull-up.
Watson, no good. Barely a difference between game clock and shot clock. So here at the end of the first half, looks like Pepperdine is going to try to hold for the final shot. I mean, it feels like a half where Pepperdine has competed, and yet they're down 45-26.
It just shows you how potent Gonzaga is offensively, because they have. It's just that Gonzaga has run away from them.
Zedek from the corner, three, good. Well, that's a good way for the Waves to end the half. A little something positive to take to the locker room.
John Zedek just finding that open shot, and they find themselves down 16, but they did compete in that first half. But overall, a really impressive half of basketball by the Zags.
Yeah, Nembhard had 9 assists. Holmgren had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. We got to see a little bit of all of it from the #1 team in the country. 45-29, that's our halftime score here in Malibu. Lots to talk about. Another great win for Rutgers. You mentioned the Texas Tech win. All that coming up on the E-Trade halftime report. Kevin, Seth, and Sean will have that for you after the break. Back in Malibu in the West Coast Conference, we get ready to start the second half. The #1 team in college basketball, Gonzaga, with a 45-29 lead. Dave Fleming, Robbie Hummel. Actually, Robbie, Pepperdine did a pretty dang good job of hanging around the powerful Zags, but the star power of Andrew Nembhard and Chet Holmgren tonight just looks overwhelming at times.
No, those two guys have put on a show, and the way that Andrew Nembhard has now played over the last 6 games, 34 assists, 3 turnovers. I mean, you're not going to get any better than that. He was running the show in the half court and transition, surgical in pick and roll action, finding Drew Timme, rolling to the basket, throwing it up to Nolan Hickman as a cutter against the zone. He is making things happen. Chet Holmgren, 9 points, 8 rebounds, altered numerous shots on the defensive end of the floor. Both these guys have been the difference for Gonzaga in an impressive first half by the Zags.
And they just have so many weapons. Even when Julian Strother got a little foul trouble, he had a quiet first half. Bolton had 7, but also missed some open shots. I mean, it wasn't perfect for Gonzaga. They shot 51%. That's below their season average as a team, which is hard to believe. Well, Pepperdine, let's see how long the Waves can at least hang around. They got a really nice student crowd tonight. The students have been super enthusiastic. How long they can keep those folks engaged in the game. Houston Millette got knocked off balance.
Andrew Nembhard just blew the play up. I mean, he totally took away the cross screen action, then was right on the hip of Houston Millette, who was just completely off balance.
One storyline to watch in the second half. Nembhard with those assists you were talking about, his career high is 13. He got a pretty good chance to get to that. Strother gets to the free throw line.
You cannot get caught ball watching, because anybody on the floor for Gonzaga can be so active as a cutter. This time it's Julian Strother. Chet Holmgren just backing you down, and you turn your head for just a second. It's a terrific cut by Strother.
Sophomore from Las Vegas. If you're looking for Gonzaga weaknesses, and you have to look for a while and squint and do lots of stuff, but you know, this is not a great free throw shooting Gonzaga team.
Which is surprising, because it's a good shooting team.
Yeah. I mean, they're 71% as a team. It's not awful, but against the pressure, Pepperdine.
And you're really nitpicking at that point. I guess you could say, you know, if you're playing a really big team and you get Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren in foul trouble, you'd have to go small with Anton Watson. You don't have somebody to battle a guy like a Kofi Coburn or some of the bigs you see in the Big Ten Conference.
Polk with the shot clock winding down. Ball got tipped to him, and he just heaved it in.
Boy, assist from Chet Holmgren. He's tapping it out, and you're right to Daryl Polk, who's locked and loaded.
Good pass by Timme to avoid the turnover. Timme from the free throw line. Holmgren, offensive rebound, and he'll rattle it down.
That's just a really impressive play by Chet Holmgren. And you've seen Drew Timme shoot a couple jumpers here tonight. It's not that he can't make them, but you just feel like he can get that at any point in the game that he wants it.
There is an element. I'm not saying this is exactly what's going on, but as Zedek makes his move against Timme, missed the shot. I mean, I think Drew Timme is trying to expand his game a little bit, work on some stuff.
It would be hard to not hear that chatter. He's shot more threes this year. He's shot more jumpers tonight than we've seen in the past, and that's what it's all about at the NBA and pro level is can you spread the floor as a jump shooter?
Holmgren is definitely going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's not going to be a problem for him.
That will not be an issue.
Boy, what a take. He is playing with some pace, and he does not lack confidence. A guy that is really scoring it.
The answer from Bolton. I mean, it is impressive. You get the #1 team in college basketball in here. And Houston Millett is just, I mean, it's not always been perfect, but he's taking it right to him.
Oh, he's been getting them up. And think about it, as a freshman, getting the opportunity to play against a team like Gonzaga. You got NBA scouts all over this place, and it's an opportunity for everybody, not just Chet Holmgren.
Holmgren got fouled by Polk after he passed up an open three.
Houston Millett now 11 points, and most of it's been in the half court. This time in transition, just a breakdown in Gonzaga's transition defense. Nobody stopping the basketball.
Polk with 3 fouls. He goes out. Jay Yoon comes back in to walk on for Pepperdine. The students who are sitting right behind us, they like Jay Yoon.
He gave good minutes in the first half. He's a guy that knows the scouting report. Came in, impacted the game on both ends.
He just shoved Julian Strother right in the throat.
Playing like the 90s Pistons on this possession.
Timme against Zedek. Drew Timme from the baseline.
That's the bread and butter. I mean, that is where he thrives, and just one of those deals where you're like, man, be who you are, because that's really good at this level.
Jay Yoon, you like plus minus?
Yeah.
He was +6 in the first half.
I like it because in my NBA career, my dad used to send me my plus minus when I played that to make me feel better.
Your team got blown out, but you were good.
You shot the ball horribly, but you were +4.
Houston Millett made another 3.
That's the first poor decision that I think that we've seen Andrew Nembhard make. I mean, Pepperdine had totally loaded up on that ball screen, and that was going nowhere.
Carson Basham, the freshman, sort of knocked it out of bounds. So Zags keep the ball. Strother from Nembhard. Too strong. Holmgren tapped it. Bolton comes away with it. His 3. No good. Timme follows.
There was about 3 guys there that could have tip-dunked that one, whether it was Julian Strother, Drew Timme, Chet Holmgren. It's been turnovers. It's been the offensive glass, and Gonzaga continuing to get it done there.
They dominated in that aspect. Down low, Zedek baseline. He's got a nice shooting touch. Much different player than his dad was. His dad was really good. Holmgren 3. Good.
They just totally lose Chet Holmgren. I'm not sure you don't pick him up. Looked like Pepperdine was a little confused. Are we in man-to-man? Are we in zone? And they just missed the biggest guy on the floor.
I mean, he is a 7-footer. Millett goes right at Holmgren. And that'll take us to a timeout.
Gonzaga continuing to flex their muscles on the offensive end. Drew Timme getting to that strong right hand, scoring the ball on the block. And going upstairs. Who wants a tip dunk? Come get one.
Well, we thought on the tip follow dunk for Drew Timme, he landed a little awkwardly, and now during this timeout, he is getting that right ankle taped up.
Yeah, and you wonder, with the score where it is, how much more will we see at Drew Timme if he did come down on that ankle a little squirrely. As he goes upstairs to hammer it. He comes down and a little off balance. Hard to see his foot in that first look, and probably going to be tough to see it here, but it is an awkward landing, and it's a decent chance that maybe we've seen the last of him here tonight.
He got the shoe back on. He's acting like he's hoping to get back in the game, but I think it's a good point. We'll see if Mark Few gets the green light to put him back in. Most head coaches will defer if the trainer says, yeah, he's good to go. Okay, he's good to go. Out of bounds.
I will say, with Chet Holmgren on the basketball, and I say this from experience because when other teams at the college level put their bigs on the ball, throwing it in is a nightmare because of the wingspan, and you have to depend on your teammates to probably hold guys off because he is going to take away so much of that under out of bounds action. It is a tough deal when you're that under out of bounds inbounder.
I like that point. Foul that one away. Millette tried to sell a call, and he got the call. Foul shooting the three, but foul that one away for whether it's a Final Four or whatever. Big game for the Zags. Late game possession. Gonzaga's on defense. Chet Holmgren.
No, it makes your life so hard as an inbounder, and even as a coach, because you've got to scheme for that. You might have to put in some new out of bounds plays to deal with his length.
First free throw good. Well, reminder again, Saturday on ESPN, college hoops at 6 Eastern. You got Duke and Florida State at Cameron Indoor. You got Kansas going to Morgantown to take on West Virginia in the Big 12. And then at 10 Eastern, Arizona and Oregon in the Pac-12 will finish off the day on ESPN. All of it will stream on the app. Pepperdine's first free throws of the game. Millette missed that one. He's got 16, though, the freshman, who can really fill it up. Had a huge game over the weekend against BYU. Pepperdine gave BYU all it could handle. Came up a little bit short. Nembhard had his shot rejected. Millette in transition. He got fouled from behind, shooting another three.
I think Anton Watson thought there's no way this is going up, but Houston Millette continuing to play with a lot of confidence, and it's been getting to the line the last two possessions. How about the help defense by Ohia Obioha? You see the two hands on the back. That was a heat check. And I think they're going to look at, was it a 2 or a 3?
Yeah.
And it was a 3.
It is, so he'll get 3 more free throws. Houston's dad, a very popular guy in college athletics, the athletic director at UC Riverside.
What a freshman class that Lorenzo Romar has put together here, and a tough one that Maxwell Lewis appears that he's going to be out for the year with a wrist injury that went down in that BYU game. Just got caught kind of on the rim off balance and took a hard fall on a dunk. But you look at, man, Mike Mitchell, Houston Millette, Maxwell Lewis, Carson Basham. There's a lot of talent. With who they lost, I'm sure Lorenzo Romar would sell an opportunity to come in and play.
I mean, if you're going to have a rough year, nobody wants to have a year like Pepperdine's having in a good WCC, but have it with young players where you see that light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's what the Waves are feeling.
Now you just got to retain them, and that's the name of the game in college basketball now. Obioha. I just butchered his name. Victor is doing a really nice job on defense right now.
Obioha.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, he started at the beginning of the year. He sort of lost his spot. Carson Basham, one of those freshmen, has been playing better. He was a big part of Pepperdine. Had a good team last year. He wasn't a scorer. Colby Ross, one of the all-time greats in the history of this school. You mentioned Kessler Edwards. He's playing well.
He's getting legitimate minutes for the Brooklyn Nets.
Pepperdine, to this point, is winning the second half. I mean, they've outscored the Zags by 2. Drew Timme comes to the scorer's table, so that's, I think, good news for Zags fans.
Well, Millette is just flying around.
He's going to shoot it again. He tried to kick that leg out. He's got to knock that off a little bit. He throws this one up. I don't know if that was a pass or a shot.
Obioha is doing good things on both ends of the floor right now. Blocking shots, getting offensive rebounds, and it's a wild possession for Houston Millette. The Reggie Miller leg kick, he hit the one almost off the top of the square, but in fairness to him, he's a guy that needs to score. Obioha making things happen, though, keeping that possession alive.
Yeah, I don't blame him for taking shots. Every once in a while, you want to try to draw a little contact with that leg, okay, but if you're doing Rockets kicks every time you're shooting the ball. Try to make the shot.
You know what? It's amazing to me that used to work. It used to work really well, and there it is. Yeah, I mean, that was aggressive. Yeah, you know what though? As a shooter, I'm sure his mindset was, "This is way off. I gotta draw a foul. I'm trying to save this one."
The lead is down to 12 with 14 minutes to go. This is not a blowout. Gonzaga a little sluggish here in the second half. Nembhard down the lane, no good. Missed the shot.
Oh, good rebound too. Munson went up and just took that from Drew Timme.
Into the front court. Millett pulls up, hand in his feet, scores anyway, and the lead is down to 10. Hickman a little out of control. They call him for the foul.
How about Houston Millett just making some of the toughest shots that you'll see? Gonzaga looking a little sped up here. And Pepperdine, they are hanging tough.
Well, we got a little story developing here in Malibu. The #1 team in the country getting tested, pushed a little bit by the Waves. 10-point lead. That's it for the #1 team in the country. Huge favorites. Part of the reason why the series history. 42 straight wins for Gonzaga against Pepperdine. Last time the Waves beat the Zags was 2002, 2 decades ago. But Pepperdine's hanging in. The other thing we've noted at the beginning of the game, Joe Lenardi, who does all the bracketology stuff for us, sends out an update every day. He said the Zags are the #1 overall seed. They will remain the #1 overall seed because if Gonzaga loses tonight, Joe declared he is going to retire. Somebody might have to text Joe, see if his career's on the line.
What a run it has been. But, man, Pepperdine, they've got other ideas about Joe's run as our bracketologist.
I mean, it would be hard to express how huge of an upset this would be. And Pepperdine's still down 10.
Well, Millett is just running off screens everywhere, and Andrew Nembhard's having to chase him. Now, the help was there, but you leave Obioha at the rim. No one home because the shot blockers came out to contest the jumper.
And now the lead is down to 8. Amazing. Millett's also working hard on this end of the floor. Timme will go to the basket. They're going to call the foul on the floor. No shot. Ankle looks fine. This is a 10-0 Pepperdine run.
How about the fact that Gonzaga hasn't scored in almost 3 minutes? I mean, that's a rare feat.
Yeah, for them, that's an eternity.
Pepperdine closing down possessions with defensive rebounds. You couldn't say that often in the first half, but here over the last 4, that's been the case.
Nembhard found Timme, and he lays that one in. They're going to count the basket plus a foul. Obioha's shoe flew off as he tried to help out and chase around Nembhard, who found the open man.
Nembhard just drug that pick and roll out so long, and you see right there, it's a tough guard for Houston Millett because it feels like an eternity. That ball screen is going on. Now you got to meet Timme way higher up that lane than that. He catches the ball almost at the rim. It's a tough cover because your man is a good 17 feet away from you, but you've got to be in and you've got to impact that roller.
So another assist for Nembhard. That snaps the run.
Somebody's going to come up and help these guards, and that's a long pass for both Yoon and Mitchell.
They barely got it over. Not a ton of shooting on the floor for Pepperdine. Munson didn't want to shoot from the baseline. They find Mitchell, though. That one too strong.
He's had a tough night shooting it. Now just 2 of 7. Got a good look.
Lob. A little off the mark. Hit the rim.
All it had to do was put it in the vicinity. That would have been a dunk.
Millett goes into the lane. Millett scores again.
He has not taken many easy shots at all tonight. All of these are contested. They're fading away. He's putting on a show.
Got 22 with still almost 12 minutes to play against the #1 team in the country. Holmgren.
That's a foul. He was being held the whole time. That is jersey.
Didn't call it. Saved in bounds. Now Pepperdine might have the advantage here. Millette gave it up, and then Timmy hustled back and got the steal. Nemhard, Strother lays it in.
That's just a killer. You had numbers, and you almost wonder if Millette was tired there. He gave it up to Munson, who's not much of a playmaker, and makes a poor pass. And Gonzaga once again, I mean, that's a pick six.
That's like a 4-point swing there.
Yeah, that's a big play.
Munson tried to go behind his back. Great hustle by Strother to poke it away. That's just effort on the defensive end, and now Pepperdine in the open court commits the foul. We're watching a pretty impressive freshman tonight, aren't we?
Pepperdine trying to find their way back, and Houston Millette having himself a ball game. Chet Holmgren probably going to be freshman of the year, but this dude playing as well. Gonzaga getting out in transition again, trying to stave off this run.
Well, it was a good week to be a Wave on the PGA Tour. It was really fun to watch. Sahith Theegala, who is a young player, was just at Pepperdine a couple years ago. His mom and dad were with him the whole way in Phoenix at the Waste Management Open. He finished tied for 30, had the lead for a lot of the tournament. Was a great player here at Pepperdine. The current reigning golf national champions, the Pepperdine Waves, on the iconic 16th hole. He wore the Pepperdine jersey.
Yeah, that's sweet. I know that when you're leading the tournament, you want to win it, but tied for third is not a bad weekend.
Against a loaded field, he more than held his own. Great experience for him. Congratulations. And maybe he's watching his Waves tonight. Timmy tried to get it to Holmgren. Pass was deflected. Zags keep it. Shot clock did not reset. Nemhard has got 12 assists already in this game. Timmy makes a couple spins, missed with the left, goes out of bounds, and that's off of Pepperdine, so Zags will keep it.
Interesting to see out of that timeout, Gonzaga going a little 5-4 pick and roll with Drew Timmy as the handler.
You got Salas on the floor right now. Strother cuts to the rim. Strother scores.
Cut. That was a big-time cut. He comes off that pin down and just curls it, and he does it with the intention to score. You see a lot of guys cut just to cut. Julian Strother was cutting right there to get a bucket.
Daryl Polk back in the game for Pepperdine. Shot clock winding down. Polk through the lane. Polk heaves it up, and it hits rim. Came up way short. Mitchell hustled after it, but lost it out of bounds.
Once again, you got Chet Holmgren just looming at that rim, and Polk loses the ball. Pretty impressed to see him even get that to the rim. He's fading away. Here's that Julian Strother cut. I mean, he was cutting with a purpose. Right to the basket, curled it. Really nice play.
Nemhard throws it up. Salas throws it down.
If you're guarding Hunter Salas in the corner, you have got to be aware. He is terrific at back cutting that and looking for lobs.
Millette got knocked off balance, so that's a foul against Gonzaga. Lead back up to 15. 13 assists for Andrew Nemhard, ties his career high.
He just gets downhill, and you get caught with tunnel vision, staring right at the ball handler, Andrew Nemhard, and if you're guarding Hunter Salas, that's just asking to get put on a poster.
On Zedek, fade away, baseline, no. And Zedek kept it alive. Good hustle by Pepperdine. Here's Polk's three. Good! Big sequence for Pepperdine.
It's all about the effort. Obi Oha And Zedek just making things happen.
Timmy tried to dunk it home. Holmgren hits the floor. And now they're going to call a jump ball. Arrow favors Gonzaga. Timmy has taken a pounding.
He really has. It's been a physical game, and just a simple ball screen action. He's going upstairs to hammer this thing. It's met at the rim, and you got 4 Pepperdine defensive players right there, and Chet Holmgren able to come up with this one there.
Well, on a night where the Zags, I mean, only 4 of 16 from 3. Shots aren't falling like they usually do. And the offense hasn't been quite as good as it usually is.
They scored 117 points against Pepperdine in the first meeting, so totally different story here tonight on the road.
Nembhard, that one was a little off the mark, but they're going to call a foul as Holmgren got pushed from underneath by Zedek. We always say all you got to do with Chet Holmgren is kind of get it in the neighborhood.
Put it in the vicinity, and you're going to be all right.
That was pushing it. That's big neighborhood.
It is, but.
Nembhard flips it down low to Salas. I don't know how he got that ball there. Nembhard this time will go to the free throw line.
He just made Mike Mitchell foul him there. That's a physical take, and almost like what you see from James Harden, where he just puts the ball on you, and there's so much contact there. But Andrew Nembhard, a real veteran play.
Anton Watson returns for the Zags.
Timmy out, Watson in. Nembhard is going to be the shooter. I don't know why we had a little pause there, but Nembhard, all the great passing, and he's had a lot of it, has only scored 2 points. He's 1 of 7. He has been almost automatic recently from the free throw line. By the way, again, a reminder, on Sunday afternoon, you get the #1 team in college basketball on the women's side. Gamecocks of South Carolina against Tennessee in the SEC on ABC Sunday, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Streaming on the app as well. So the free throws make it 68-54. 8 minutes to go. Zedek, Watson, hand in his face, scored anyway.
Tough shot. Another cross screen action for Zedek, and he just backs Anton Watson down and makes a really nice move with the fadeaway jumper.
Mike Mitchell defensive. I know Nembhard's had some incredible passing tonight, but Mitchell's in his face.
These freshmen, they're earning their paychecks here tonight. Talk about the job that they've done and just the way that they have to play, the minutes they have to play for Pepperdine. Mike Mitchell, Houston Millette, they're not coming off the floor.
I think Pepperdine, well, they have 8 scholarship players available for this game. Nembhard got credit for an assist there, so that means 14, a new career high.
A scholarship check would be the more appropriate term. Earning their scholarship check.
Today, the lines are a little more blurred. Millette from way outside. Holmgren rebound. And they do need him to shoot. Watson gets fouled from behind. Timeout here in Malibu. Still not decided, which is an upset in and of itself. 6:58 to go. Zags lead 70-56.
What drives me is the people that believe in me, even more than the people that don't. People believe in me, believe what I can be. So, I strive every day to, reach that potential.
Our Wendy's Wooden Watch with young Chet Holmgren, who's having another super efficient game. 14 points, 14 rebounds, credit for 3 blocks, affecting shots to a much greater degree than only 9 field goals attempted. Chet Holmgren, who is, according to ESPN.com, the #1 prospect for the upcoming NBA draft. You've seen a lot of Jaden Ivey.
Yes, I have.
You are our company expert
in seeing Jaden Ivey play, and he's just an elite athlete. You think of John Morant, Russell Westbrook type, and I don't throw that around lightly, but the type of athlete that Jaden Ivey is. Jabari Smith, a crazy big-time shooter with elite size. I still think that Chet Holmgren as the #1 prospect is totally fair, but the top end of that draft is just loaded.
That's a nice group.
No doubt. Banchero, a physical specimen. A.J. Griffin is having a great year at Duke. There's some serious talent at the top end of the draft, and you feel like maybe some generational type guys.
Gonzaga's made their free throws, 12 of 13 at the line. Big reason why they have some breathing room here despite the effort of Pepperdine. Millett, no on that one. That was actually, by his standards, pretty good look.
That was the best look he's gotten. He got away from Hunter Salas, and to think he's going to sleep well tonight. He's run all over the place to try to free himself from the Gonzaga defense.
And Pepperdine needs him to. I mean, the team that they have right now, they need him to be shooting as much as he can.
Especially without Maxwell Lewis. And there, a nice play by Mike Mitchell. Just being in the right position, getting a hand in there and taking that rock.
Zedek against Holmgren.
Tried to move him and just couldn't. That's like 10 fakes, and finally you get up a shot, but it's well contested.
And Zedek, I mean, he's a skilled, savvy, veteran player. Under 6 minutes to go in Malibu. When you think Malibu, you think the beach and all of that. Holmgren missed, got his own miss. Now with the left hand finishes. This has been a tough guy kind of game. This hadn't been a Malibu game. Millett, baseline, no.
I just think Houston Millett is gas.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren is having himself a ball game. That's now 4 offensive rebounds, and you're right. It has not been a finesse type deal.
16 points, 16 rebounds for Holmgren. His career high in rebounds is 17. Everybody looks a little gas. I mean, these two teams played hard.
With the pace, it makes sense, and they've left it out there. It's been an up and down game.
Timmy, one-on-one. Got underneath the basket. He's just so hard to stop there.
He had the look right there that he was going to score that thing. And that's a weight room type basket. Drew Timme determined on that possession to get a bucket.
The fans may be even a little out of gas.
Everybody's tired from this, except for Chet Holmgren. He's continuing to hoop.
Man, how about that block? Mitchell had the corner there, I thought.
You just think you're there. You think you're open, and against 99% of college basketball, you are.
And again, making it real hard to get the ball in bounds.
Oh, it's a nightmare. Ohio State used to do it when we played them, and Chet Holmgren is longer and more athletic than anybody they had. You're talking about Costa Koufis, B.J. Mullins, some really good players, but Chet's a different animal. And yeah, this is a terrific view of what you're dealing with. You're throwing hand grenades out there, hoping your teammates can get to them.
Good luck. Holmgren wanted to go to Timme.
He had him for just a second. Probably a wise decision. If you weren't going to hit him right away, probably going to be a turnover.
Now the emphatic block on this end, Ohia Obioha, who's given Pepperdine some nice minutes.
He has. Defensively, he's been the effective help defender, coming over, just erasing shots. I'll give this Pepperdine crowd credit. This is ballooned to a 20-point game, and they're still here into this game.
Shot clock winding down. Nembhard tried to draw the foul, and the officials didn't buy it. Millett goes all the way, draws the foul on this end.
Gonzaga fouls on number 2, Drew Timme. His second.
You said it. Houston Millett's going to sleep well tonight.
And so's the guys that have been defending him too. I mean, he's been all over the place.
And Pepperdine's going to call a timeout. Maybe just buy a breather for some of Lorenzo Romar's guys. 4:09 to go here. Zags up 76-56. Well, there has been a bit of a revolving door in the top spot. Zags were there for 5 weeks. Baylor took over. They were there for a while. Auburn had the #1 ranking. Duke's had it for a week. Your Boilermakers had it for the first time ever.
Yeah, don't remind me. It was short-lived.
It was a one and done, but they had it.
We did. We had it.
Do we have a score from tonight? They were in Evanston, weren't they?
Yeah, they won a dogfight. I want to say 70-64, but I think that's a pretty incredible stat right there to see just the company that Gonzaga's kept with Duke, Villanova, Baylor, Kansas. I mean, blue bloods. And we were talking about this before the game. When Gonzaga started their run with Dan Munson, you can compare them to a Butler or even a Valparaiso. Go to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight, and the sustained success from there on, to me, is just incredible. Because a lot of programs, Pepperdine experienced this as well, where you win some games in the NCAA tournament, and it's a flash in the pan. But give a lot of credit to Mark Few and his ability to say, you know what, this place is where I need to be. I'm happy here, and let's build this thing. And he has built this place into an absolute juggernaut.
He committed to staying there. The fan support, the support from the school has been incredible, high level, to help make that happen. Strother from Timmy came up short. Timmy offensive rebound and the putback.
Gonzaga has not shot it well tonight, and they are eclipsing 80 points. They're about to get to 80.
Yeah. They're just so hard to stop. Polk. Holmgren, give him another rebound, so I think that matches his career high now in the rebound category. The other thing that Mark Few has done is, you know, he's made this program so player friendly. Not that he's easy on the players. They're going to call a foul before the shot attempt, but I mean, the player development has been so good. Not only just the big-time recruits who've come there, but Zags have gotten better. I mean, Sabonis was a good player. Jalen Suggs with a huge recruit. I mean, these are guys just like this week who are playing well
totally.
in the NBA.
And they have so many guys playing at that level. And you're right. Player development has been a strong suit. The way that Brandon Clark got better and better after he transferred in. Corey Kispert, you look at his just evolution from his freshman year to be a role player all the way to be an All-American type guy. I just think that Mark Few, he's got the recipe, and you said it, player friendly, but guys get better, guys go to the NBA, and you win at the highest level. You know, I know that the national championship has eluded them so far, but it's eluded a lot of really good teams. They've been knocking on the door, and to me, it's just a matter of time.
And they have a great chance to do it this year. They do. Zedek had it poked away from behind. Another whistle there. I mean, this weekend is NBA All-Star weekend. So most players who aren't in the All-Star game at the NBA level go to
Mexico
Cabo or Hawaii
anywhere
or whatever.
Exactly.
Kispert's coming back to Spokane. Jalen Suggs is coming back to Spokane. They're all going to be there this weekend because that's where their buddies are. That's where their family is.
Totally says a lot about the program. And I know it's not 75 and sunny in Spokane right now, so that's really cool.
It'll be senior day for the Zags at home on Saturday against a good Santa Clara team. Then Gonzaga will take their last road trip in the regular season to USF and St. Mary's, arguably the two toughest games on the schedule right at the end. So the Zags are going to be pushed here at the end of the regular season. We'll be back right after this. Now on Sunday, now that the NFL is over, a little more college hoops comes up on Sundays from here on out. Now, these are two interesting games. Houston on the road against Wichita State, 1 Eastern on ESPN, and staying in the American. All of a sudden, Penny Hardaway and Memphis have a little momentum. SMU, as of right now, they're a tournament team, 3 Eastern, also on Sunday.
That's a huge game. I mean, Memphis, SMU, you're talking about two teams that are fighting for their NCAA tournament lives. And in the American Conference, you're looking for quality wins, and outside of those 4 teams we saw right there, there's just not a ton of opportunity.
I mean, just, people nitpick with the Zags. Memphis right now, one of those last 4 in. And the reason they nitpick them is they say, well, you play in the West Coast Conference. How good can you really be? I mean, LMU is second to last, only above Pepperdine in the WCC. LMU beat SMU earlier this year.
That just goes back to those non-conference wins we looked at earlier in the game. And it was, what, 5-6 teams that have beaten people, whether it's road games, neutral site, home, that doesn't matter. But you win games of that quality, it's only going to help your league. And that's where the West Coast Conference has done a great job this year of doing their work early, and it's paying off.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those teams are tournament teams that not just the Zags, everybody in the WCC piled up good non-league wins. Holmgren out, Timmy out, Nemhard out, Strother out. Bolton got knocked off balance, turned it over.
You could feel that was going up. Yes, he was casting that bad boy.
There was no doubt about that one. A tougher shooting second half. Watson runs the floor and dunks it home. Final 2 minutes here. All the good work that Pepperdine did. I mean, Pepperdine played well and hard, and it's 84-61.
No, with a young team, that's what you want if you're Lorenzo Romar, to come out, compete, try to run with the big dogs, and you have to think that this is an opportunity for your young group to see what an elite team in college basketball looks like. You always want to test yourself against the best, and that's what you got to do tonight. And I would say Pepperdine played well, and that's in a 23-point loss.
Turnovers. Mark Few is going to talk about those. I know he is.
Gonzaga a little uncharacteristic with their ability to take care of the ball here tonight. A nice play.
Zedek plays it in.
Simple high-low. It's an easy game when you play it the right way.
And it is a little easier when Holmgren's on the bench.
and when the NBA players are off the floor.
Well, now you get to take this experience. You've seen the Zags back to the Big Ten.
Now I'm glad I got to see him in person, because you can get tunnel vision into the league that you see. And I have to say they live up to the billing. I just think all 5 starters can be so effective, and even on a night like tonight, you look at Rasheer Bolton, gives you 11 points, quiet 11, but you know he's effective. Nemhard doing his thing in pick and roll. Timmy and Holmgren, they've got so much talent in that front line. You bring off two really talented freshmen off the bench alongside Anton Watson. This is a really good team.
Nemhard had those 14 assists, new career high for him. He did have 2 turnovers.
How dare he?
14 assists, 2 turnovers. And Chet Holmgren, 18 points, 17 rebounds, 4 blocks.
Played the game with real physicality tonight.
Anton Watson being aggressive in the last minute. So the Zags will get an extra day. Usually WCC Thursday, Saturday scheduling. Wednesday here, Zedek had that shot blocked. So they'll get an extra day to rest, recuperate, and get ready for senior day in Spokane.
They wanted that one here.
Yeah, Jay Yoon got a good look. Shot clock not off. Watson badly missed the 3. Yoon, nice pass for the layup.
You can hear it. The crowd just wanted him to shoot it so bad. And that was a nice play by Jay Yoon to set his teammate up for a bucket.
So that'll be our final margin, 86-66. Lunardi doesn't have to retire.
Good for you, Joe. You're still employed. Still on the grind.
You know, there might have been a minute or two where Joe was thinking, what did I do?
Oh, man.
Give Pepperdine credit for that, because this team just 1-12 in league play. They looked... another testament to the WCC is just better this year and deeper, because most years this Pepperdine roster wouldn't be 1-12.
Absolutely, and certainly the injury to Maxwell Lewis is a tough blow for a young team that's trying to find their way. Houston Millette lived up to the billing. Now, Mike Mitchell, a young freshman, but end of the day, Gonzaga just too much, and that guy right there, Chet Holmgren, so impressive. The Zags continue to roll on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, some big-time stats tonight. Nembhard sets a new career high, 14 assists. Even though he did not shoot the ball well, Andrew was just 1 of 8 shooting. Holmgren with the 17 rebounds to go along with his 18 points and 4 blocks. Fun to be with you, Robbie.
Yes, thank you. Great being with you, Dave.
All right, for Robbie Hummel, I'm Dave Fleming saying so long here from Malibu.